with me? Your body doesn't feel like itself anymore. You're tired in a way that sleep just doesn't fix. And maybe you're starting to have some health issues. And in the quiet of the night, sometimes you whisper in a way that brings tears to your eyes, "Is this all there is?" If that's you, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you, and it's not just you. It's many of us. What you're experiencing is not personal failure, and it's not because you're not trying hard enough or you don't have enough willpower. What you're experiencing is weight, but not the kind you think. I want you to imagine with me, picture back to when you were about 18 years old. Now hand that young woman a blanket. You know those weighted blankets that are really popular nowadays? Not too heavy, maybe 5 pounds. Now you're 25. Life happens. Maybe you're dealing with a challenging boss, or you've lost a grandparent, or maybe you're having financial difficulties, and you add another blanket. Now you're 30. More things happening. At 30, maybe you're dealing with infertility, or maybe you've suffered a miscarriage. You're struggling financially, and that love of your life relationship fell apart. And so you add another blanket. Now you're 35. You're raising your children while also taking care of your parents. Maybe you've lost a grandparent. That dream job didn't work out. And now you add another blanket. By the time you've reached 40 years old, you are carrying a stack of weighted blankets. And they're stacked so high that you, the carrier of those blankets, can barely breathe. This is what scientists call or refer to as allostatic load, which is the cumulative physiological burden that chronic stress places on our body. And I know you have carried a lot. Research also shows us that chronic stress doesn't just disappear when the challenging situation goes away. What happens is our nervous system responds more and more every time we encounter a challenging situation. Also, chronic stress results in progressive wear and tear on both our brains and our bodies. And I know many of you feel that every day. That is why you can't just smile and be happy. That is why you can't just lose the weight. And my favorite is that is why you can't just relax and calm down. If you've been asking yourself, what's wrong with me, you should be asking, what weight have I been carrying? If you've been asking yourself, why am I so tired? You should be asking yourself, how heavy is the weight I've been carrying? And if you've been asking yourself, why can't I just change? You should be asking yourself, what load have I been carrying that I need to put down? What research also tells us is that our bodies are brilliant. So when we encounter stressful situations, our bodies react in ways that literally help us survive, which is great in the short run. But in the long run, these adaptations actually become maladaptive. That is why it's like those weighted blankets, and that is why sometimes you feel like you are suffering under all that weight. So what do? Research shows us that acknowledgement matters, that processing matters. So first, we're going to acknowledge what we've been through. We are going to start the healing process. Little by little, we're going to start to heal. And the way we do that is we start taking off those weighted blankets. And research also shows us that as we begin to heal, our bodies begin to heal. And what are some of the things that we can do? So things like somatic practices, which are mind-body practices, where we can be reflective, we can move our body, and we can start the healing process. But we can also go to therapy if we have endured trauma, as I know many of you in this room have. We can also start reaching out to other women to build community so we can start sharing what has gone on with us, what our stories have been. And also, we can start setting boundaries so we stop picking up those weighted blankets that don't belong to us and likely never did. So if you've been asking, is this all there is? No, this is not all there is. There is the you to be discovered under all that weight. And instead of asking what's wrong with me, start asking, what can I set down? And the answer is all of it. You can set down all of it.